Oh, can I do a video without any preparation? We'll see.
There's no place I'd rather be.
Hey guys, it is Kirby from Blue Lust here, and welcome back to the podcast. So, quick recap from the last episode. Kind of just my introduction episode. I talked about a little bit about Duel Links, some of the events going on there. At the time of recording, the Agami event is still going on, which honestly I got bored of that one pretty darn quick, to be honest. But I've been playing a lot of PvP. I really have been enjoying the PvP scene, especially using these Lunalights. I think that, they definitely are going to be what I'm going to be taking to the KC Cup. Hopefully it's going to do good. Hopefully. Me playing serious competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been something that hasn't happened since right before Master Rule 4 was announced. I was not a fan of Master Rule 4. The Link format is what got me. It wasn't the, Pendulums. Master Rule 3 I was fine with, actually. I actually kind of embraced the Pendulum monsters. I tried, tweaking my Cyber Dragon deck to fit them in back when the starter decks were released, and oh boy, did that not work whatsoever. But I do like Pendulum decks. I'm hoping that maybe this whole thing with Master Rule 5 will make some of them viable again. But as of from what I've seen, Master Rule 5 I think is gonna rebalance the game back to being pretty solid. I'm hoping that it allows me some good play with my Cyber Dragon deck. I'm actually going to be testing that out probably sometime tonight, in between editing on the video. Because, I've been enjoying just playing different Yugi sims. Really been enjoying playing 04, the World Championship Series. But when it comes down to stuff like YGO Pro and Dueling Nexus, I'd have to say right now I'm preferring Dueling Nexus, because I'm not as used to a lot of these rules or a lot of these rulings as I should be. Honestly, when I fell out of it, I barely know what Ash is. I've got some serious work to do if I'm going to get back into this competitive scene. But I think I can manage it. If you guys got any advice on that, please drop it down below in the comments. I always want to hear from you guys. I'll always try to reply to every comment I can, every comment I see. But yeah, I do know about the dangers. I've still been buying cards on and off, a tin here, a tin there. But, like, seriously investing, I have not. Hopefully this check I'm going to be picking up some of the parts to my Cyber Dragon deck that I'm wanting to get, because I'm really wanting to rebuild that. I want to get it set up for this new Master Rule. I want to get it updated with all the, with some of the better cards in the current format. And I'm wanting to see if the OTK strategy is still viable. The one from around 2015 that I was using. But other than that, man, I don't know much about the new cards that are out right now. Back when I was, right when I left the scene, I think Zodiac's just got destroyed by Master Rule 4. And at that point, I was just kind of like, okay, no. Because this new, the Link format, at least Master Rule 4's version of it, really didn't do much good for the game, in my opinion. It didn't really slow it down like it was supposed to. It just really just turned a lot of decks into rubbish. Now I kind of wish they would do like I wish they would get new formats set up for tournaments, because I would like to see like a rotation setup where, similar to Magic the Gathering or Pokemon, where you're only able to use, the current sets. I think that would honestly add some interesting stuff to the game. Having cards come in rotations instead of just everything available all the time, like Legacy format. But in the same sense, I like how Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a Legacy format, in the fact that a card from like almost 20 years ago can turn super viable because of one broken combo with like 2-3 new cards. So I mean, I can't say that I really want to see more formats come into Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I love the Speed Duel format. Like I've said before, I'm going to be doing some pack openings for that later. That's going to be some good fun. And I'm going to be trying to get some other people to do some Speed Duel videos with me in the future. Because like I said, it's a fun format. Again, I really like the skills aspect of it, using actual skill cards, like kind of like how Dueling Network does it. Really, Speed Duels are Dueling Network. Or Dueling Network. Oh my gosh, I am a kid from many years ago. Duel Links. I like the Duel Links format. Speaking of Dueling Network, I've noticed that the Dueling Nexus, it feels like that's the same exact engine that was being run for Dueling Network many years ago. If that's the case, that is awesome. I'm definitely going to have to start going back on there, because it's a lot more interactive. You have to talk with your opponents more. Honestly, I think that one's better for, like, if you're getting ready for a tournament and you want to get a few good, solid practice rounds in. I'd have to say I'd rather use the Nexus, because you have to have that extra bit of interaction. You actually have to watch your timings, and it doesn't auto do it for you like YGO Pro does. Now, I like YGO Pro because even though it's unofficial, it does give you some better insights to some of the rulings, and it does help you learn some of your timings better. Plus, if you just want a clicker and you're bored, and you want to mindlessly click, YGO Pro is pretty good for that. Now, I will say I don't like how they've taken out some of the customization options and put it behind a paywall. That I really don't like that, man. I liked the version of it right before that, where you could just go into the game's files and mess with it. And I'm gonna see if that's still an option, because I want to put my custom sleeves into it. I'll probably be using the ones that I use on Duel Links, which are the ones I use on Duel Links are the ones from the new generation Duel Disc that Kaiba had in the Dark Side of Dimension movie. And I really like those sleeves, and I just like to think of, I'd like to think that every character I use, is kind of using something like that, but I don't know, I'm weird. I really like to roleplay when I'm playing Duel Links. And I think that there's going to be some good tournament decks that I'm going to be seeing come on YGO Pro and Duelist Nexus. And I'm wanting to learn what the current meta is. And I know there haven't been any real tournaments because of everything going on with the world right now and stuff. And that's part of the reason why I started to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like, there's nothing to do but stay at home. Oh, why don't I dust off my old collection? Why don't I sit here and play Duel Links for a few hours, or YGO Pro? And it's like, really fun just to sit down and just play these games that I haven't actually played in a few years. Like, I've been playing Duel Links on and off. Like, that one has always just been a really fun, just time waster game for me. But, seriously, sit down and start working on competitive. It's a totally different beast than playing as casual as I was. But I'm wanting to see, I need to look into what's what's really hot in the meta scene right now. And I'm probably going to be doing some pack openings pretty soon too. Just as kind of a thing to I don't know, add some extra content to the channel. I'm not going to be a pack opening channel. I cannot afford that. But, like, buy a few tins, and, sit down and just open them up. I think I might be able to manage doing that once in a minute. I definitely want to check out some of the new structure decks that are out. And I want to see if anything there is viable for competitive. I need to find the one that has the, Ash Blossom, the structure deck that has it. Even if it's just a common copy of the card, I'm gonna have to get a copy or two of that, or a play set preferably. Now I've heard that traps have all but died in the game. Hand traps really have taken over a lot of the game, and it was getting like that back when Master Rule 4 was coming into the scene. It just seemed to have gotten worse as time went on. I like some of the early hand traps, like, let's not forget the original hand trap, Karibo. That one was an interesting hand trap, just because the hand traps weren't a thing back then. Except for, like, Karibo. And now we've got, like, I remember that, Valor and, Fader both came in around, the 5Ds era. Which was a really good era for the game, in my opinion. I think the 5Ds era was probably where it kind of had a good peaking moment for a minute. Of course, the Exceed era wasn't too bad. I didn't like a lot of the Exceed builds, and I'm still not the biggest fan of running Exceeds. I do with my Cyber Dragons because it's kind of it's a necessary evil with them. Because you've got to have that Nova. You've got to have that Infinity in your deck. There's no way around it. If your Rampage Dragon gets kind of walled and you need, or if you need to tech out of it, Nova to Infinity is always a good option. And, I get that Exceeds, running them sometimes has to be a necessary evil. I do want to build a Synchro deck. I want to see if there's any Synchro decks that are kind of in the meta right now. Or even an anti-meta one would be nice. Because I like to run anti-meta decks. I don't like to run the same deck that, everyone's bringing the Worlds, everyone's bringing the Locals, everyone's bringing the Regionals. I want to play something different than that. And, something that's solid enough that it still holds its own chance. Because I mean, a part of the reason I love the game is there's so much variety in what you can build. Um, like especially when GX came out and archetypes were starting to be built. You had like your E-heroes, you had the Cyber Girls, you had the Cyber Dragons, the Roids, the Ancient Gears, and all those were very thematic and they all were their own thing. And in the show especially, it wasn't so much what you were running, it was how you were running the deck. And, like, I get that, that's kind of, impossible to do in a real life game. But, like, I wish they would try to balance it out more. And I wish they'd, like, try to lower the power creep a little. Because lately I feel the power creep's been kind of getting out of hand. And especially was with Master Rule 4. Because they crept out so many good decks just by changing some simple rulings. And now because of Link Monsters, when before Link Monsters were introduced, how you'd normally rearrange your cards, make them look better on the board, get them. You can't do that anymore, and that's weird to me. I'm that person who likes to, reline my cards, get them all, but I mean, that's just one of my ticks, and I'm funny like that. But I'm wanting to see, what this new, meta game's about. I'm wanting to see if, there's anything that I'm going to be enjoying running. And, if worse comes to worse, pull back my Cyber Dragons. I'll figure something out. I'll make them work somehow. They're Cyber Dragons. They can't be that hard to fix. Now, I do like, that Overload Fusion card that came out. That one is pretty interesting. Personally, though, I'm a fan of Power Bond. At the end of the day, I'm a fan of Power Bond. And, like, the way I'd run my Cyber Dragon deck, I was able to really, Cyber Dragon decks have a problem with draw power and sometimes, just speed or getting the card you need. I managed to have mine worked around to where, normally within turn 2 I'd have a Power Bond in my hand. And if I couldn't get into a Power Bond, I'd have a decent field set up with some Exceeds. And then once Master Rule 4 hit, I did like 2 tournaments. And like the first one, we're still all learning the rules. It's locals. And like I managed to get like 3rd place in that tournament. No, 2nd place in that tournament. It was like 2nd place in that tournament. I didn't top it. Well, I topped it, but I didn't like win it. And then, like, the one after that, I really had trouble with, because it was a few months, it was about a set or 2 later. And, the game just didn't feel the same. It was really different feeling, because I couldn't load up my board with extra deck cards as easily, especially since there wasn't anywhere in my deck that could run most of these Link monsters. They didn't fit in with it. They just kind of clogged it up. But I'm hoping with Master Rule 5 we're going to be able to unclog a lot of old decks, and I'm hoping a lot of them get polished off and re-looked at and reworked. I want to see, like, Shadalls and Ghost Tricks, or not Ghost Tricks, Trap Tricks, wasn't it? I want to see stuff like that starting to come back. I want to see, I do know Altergeists are still kind of relevant, aren't they? Uh, I think Zodiacs are still kind of dead. A lot of the Pendulum decks are still kind of dead, which it's a shame because there's some good ones. I ran Perform Pals for a minute. I like those. I like Dot Eyes. I built a Odd Eyes Magician deck for a minute. That was fun to do. But I don't know, stuff like oh shoot, what's it called? But yeah, there's been just stuff like these new meta decks. They're so confusing to me because a lot of them revolve around the link arrows and getting everything set up, and it's like it's a different game than what I'm used to. So I'm trying to get back into that. I need to start watching some deck profiles more. I do plan on making one relatively soon for my Duel Links deck. And I'm toying around with a few tech options. One of my favorites is that Paradox Fusion, I think is what it's called. And it's a really weird card. It's a counter trap, and basically the way it works is you can activate it off opponent's summon or spell trap activation, and it basically works like a Solemn, but instead of paying life points, you banish one of your fusion monsters for 2 turns, which I'm wanting to see how viable that is in the Duel Links format, especially since I'm running an OTK deck, and I do need some tech options in there, I've noticed. At least, some just defense. Or some removal. Definitely some removal is something I need to look into. I might run I might do something like Dark Bribe again, because that one was doing really well for a second in Duel Links. Now, I might go and, pick me up a couple of, Cosmic Cyclones, or maybe a Twin Twister. Now, I'm not a fan of running a Treacherous Trap Hole with this deck, though, because it just doesn't fit in. You're normally going to be, if you're going first, you're normally going to be popping off a, Lunalight Reincarnation Dance that first turn. So you're normally always going to have a trap in your graveyard. Treacherous Trap Hole just doesn't really work with that deck very well from what I've experimented with. For a minute I was trying to run it with some equipped spells. I do like getting Power of the Guardians onto Cat, though, because you can get some really just disgusting amounts of attack points. Like, you can get it set up to where I've gotten Cat up to like 10,000 in a PvP match just because my opponent had a decent board setup, and I used Cat's effect, and I gained like 3,000 just from attacking all of his monsters 2 times. So, I mean, that was a pretty interesting, setup for a minute, and, I might look into maybe Power the Guardians again, because that one, it's a card I really like. I might get rid of maybe a copy or two of Butterfly, because Butterfly seems to be the one that just doesn't work the best in this deck for me. Because I like Rabbit because of its graveyard pulling. I like Bird because it's draw power. You're getting rid of cards. You're pulling back from the graveyard once you get rid of Bird. Fox is like the best card in the deck. Fox and Bird. Best combo in the deck, I've noticed. And And I'm going to be looking into trying out the ritual deck. Oh, shoot. I normally would remember its name. The zombie ritual deck. I want to try that one out. I've got a good hunk of the cards out of the archetype. I think I've got 3 of the ritual even. So, I mean, that one's one I'm going to try. I'm going to probably end up picking up that ritual starting kit that has, like, Sonic Bird and, like, Manju in it. Which Manju to 10,000 hands is, like, one of the best cards for running a ritual deck. I do know it's a must-have if you're running a Blue Eyes Chaos Max deck in the TCG. I also want to experiment with maybe a banishing deck. Like, there's some really good cards I've noticed that get some gnarly attack points on banished cards. And, banishing cards isn't that hard, I believe. Or at least in TCG it isn't. Especially with that, one new pot card, which I'm not a fan of. I think it's Pot of Desires. It's the one where you banish 10 cards off the top of your deck just to draw 1 or 2. I'm not a fan of it, personally, because I don't like running, banishing engines very much. I like having a good graveyard engine going on. I like to play out of my graveyard a lot, I've noticed. I really struggled to play against a lot of Necro Valley Gravekeeper decks. I've actually been struggling against those in PvP as of late. They're really confusing to me because they're just kind of... They shut out a really vital part of a lot of my strategies. Because Cyber Dragons, I play out of my grave. I play that deck, I straight up just get rid of stuff constantly in my graveyard. And then I, like, pull it back within not even a turn. I'm really a big fan of what I've been seeing, though, with some of the Duel Links cards that have came out. The new pack, I've picked up a few packs of it. And actually, on screen, I'm going to show what I've pulled. Because I recorded it while I was pulling packs, because I was like, yeah, why not? I've got a new Android phone, and it lets me record game footage. So, I've started recording my pack openings. And I normally buy like 10 packs at a time. I managed to get 1,000 gems together. The new box was out. I was like, let's pull a few packs. Why not? You know, it'd look good on the channel. And both purchases I made, the first pack, I pull one of the URs. So I've got 2 of the URs out of this box. I want to get the third one before I reset the box. I definitely do. And if I get the third one, I'm going to reset the box, and I'm just going to try to get some more of them. I'm wanting to see what this new deck, or what this new box holds in the way of deck building, and tech options. I noticed they brought that, one snail card back that was like one of the starting cards in, the Forbidden Memories Game Boy Advance game, which is one that I'm probably going to use for background footage. But I'm running out of time on this episode, actually. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Just remember to like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, comment down below. I will try to reply to everyone. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening to me ramble. And in the next episode, I'll have my thoughts together better. I'll probably do like a top 5 list of something or another. You know what? Next episode, top 5 decks that I've built and I've ran. All right, bye guys.